everybody, this is Vicky Pacheco, and I'm doing a quick tutorial on how to play Latin, just your basic Latin. There's different styles of Latin music, and everybody plays it differently. What I'm going to teach is pretty much something very fundamental, very basic. I guess you can say it's kind of like that building block of Latin music. Once you get better at it, of course, you can add your own little flair to it. But this is just something basic that kind of gets you through playing anything along the lines of Ella Soraba, Si Tuvieras Fe, Me Hizo Pentecostal, anything along those lines. So we're going to do this in the key of D minor. Okay, so pretty much you have D, F, and A. And this A, I just make it an octave. Okay. And you keep D and F in the middle. So you're just, this is what it's going to sound like. Okay. So pretty much your pattern is octave, then the D and the F, play them together, and then octave moves up to A sharp. Then you do the two notes again, the D and the F, the same ones, together. And then come back down to your A. This time, your D and your F, you're going to break them up, play melodically instead of harmonically together. So, okay? So again, that's octave, together, octave, together, octave, melodic, and then back up to your octave A sharp. Then together, back to A. Okay, so the pattern again is okay, and again it's just rhythm wise. So you have so that's from there. Then in most of these songs, they jump a lot, mainly between the minor, right? The minor, D minor, and then to the fifth, which is the next chord would be A. So in this case, A major. A lot of these songs jump back and forth between the minor and the fifth of that minor, which again, I was in D minor. My fifth in this chord was A, so A major. Not all of them do that. There's, again, different patterns, depends on what song, but this is a big main chunk of what you'll find in most Latin music is they'll do that pattern. So from after you've completed your pattern with D minor, from there, land again on your A octave, but this time your D and your F are going to switch down a half step. So you're going to have C sharp and E now. So you move from here and you move down a half step to here. Okay, so you're going to have, okay, and then your octave is now going to move down to G. Okay, it's going to be the same pattern. The only notes that changed was you're going from A to G, and then your two notes in the middle moved from D, F to now C sharp and E. But the pattern is the same thing. So you have octave, together, octave, together, octave, melodic, octave, together. Okay, and that is put it all together. that's it for your right hand. Now your left hand, it has a simple pattern. So you have the way you over here, right? You had D, your D minor chord. You're pretty much using your root, your 1, and your 5th. Okay, now depending how big your hand is, if your hands are small and you can only go between these two, that's fine. If you have big hands like I do, long fingers, I go D, A, and then the higher D, back down to the A. Again, and the pattern for that is okay. If your hands are small though, you'd just be same rhythm, but you wouldn't be going to this higher D. You'd just be okay. And then when you go to A, same thing. You take your root note and you take your 5th, and the same thing. Or if you have small hands, okay, and that's pretty much the hard part is putting it together. At the beginning, it's very difficult because they're not. It's two different rhythms going on, so you have to take it very slow. And once you get super comfortable with it, you don't even think about it anymore. It's kind of like when you use your sustain pedal, you just don't really think about using it anymore. It just comes natural. So at the beginning, it's going to be kind of hard, and you have to have a lot of patience to kind of get the beat down. If you're one of those gifted people that just gets it super fast, well, you know, praise God for that. So this is a pattern that works for me. So pretty much, and I'm going to do the one that reaches to the next octave. My hands are a little bit bigger and more comfortable that way. So what we're going to do here is whenever you play your octave, right, going from the beginning now, that part right there, when you play your octave, you're going to play it together with your pinky on D. Okay, so you're going to have, okay, together. And then the two notes, okay, will be following that by themselves. So you have just like that, okay? Together, and then the chords, okay? From there, when you go to this higher, the higher octave, the A sharp, that's when you're on A on your left hand, okay? So again, slowly, that's okay. One more time. Okay. Now coming back down, those two notes again by themselves. After you hit this, by itself. So again, you have the together, then you have right hand, two notes, then together, then right hand, two notes, and then this next part, the last part when you land on D, right? Because that part, when you're going to go land on this D, it's not going to be together. It's pretty much, your right hand is going to follow quickly after your left hand. So you're going to play D and then the octave. But you can't wait too long. It's pretty much going to be just like that. Okay, because it's kind of on an off rhythm. Okay, so again, it's together, right hand, two notes by themselves, go up to the higher octave and the A in your left hand, together, right hand by itself, the two notes, and then you have that delay. Pa-pa, pa-pa. Okay, so slowly you have. Okay, one more time. Okay, after that, you are now melodically going to play these two notes broken up instead of together. You're going to, okay, that's what's next. And then you're going to play together with the A on your left hand, A sharp in your right. Okay, and then you start all over. Okay, so slowly again, you have. Now again, that just takes practice. It might sound silly and it doesn't sound nothing like Latin at the beginning, but you need to get used to where your fingers go, and mainly the most important thing is the rhythm between your hands. So, and once you get better at it and practice, it sounds. Okay, so that same pattern that we just covered, it's going to be the exact same thing when we move to A. Only from here, we're now moving to A, E, A in our left hand. Okay, and then we have A, C sharp, E, and A in our right hand. And the pattern for that is the same. When you play this lower A, you're playing it together with your A octave in your right hand. Then you're playing the two notes in your right hand by themselves, C sharp and E. And then when you play the E in your left hand, you're playing that together with the G octave in your right. Then those two notes again together. And then the same thing. You have that delayed effect where you play on A. Okay? And then you're going to melodically play these notes. Okay? And when you land back on E over here, octave G. Okay? These are just moving back and forth between here. And then these are just going to be staying here, but you're playing together or broken. Okay? So again, you have. Okay, and that sounds. Okay, there you go. If you have a bass player, you don't necessarily have to play so low. Sounds better when they do it, and you can play it higher, and it sounds much nicer. So you have the. Okay, and then some little things, small things that you can add. Get comfortable with that, obviously, first. Once you get that, then you can kind of add extra things. One simple thing that I'm going to show that you can do from here, keep this. You can keep this the same. When you get to A, I kind of like to add. So instead of having the, you're doing it like that, but then you're bouncing really quick here, and then landing. So you're doing together the A's by themselves, these two notes, together E with G octave, and then you're going to G sharp, and then you're going to fall and do that delay on A. So you have. Okay, you finish it. One more time. Sorry. It's very important that you do that delay because it kind of adds that Latin. Okay. All right, that's the end of that. Okay, moving on to the next part. Once you've gotten the beginning part down pretty good and comfortable, then we can move on to this next segment. And there's two ways that you can go into this, well, that I found useful and works for me. There's a longer version and a shorter version, and it's a pattern. So from D minor, I'm going to work on the long version first. From D minor, we go to G. Okay, D minor, go to G minor, And then just moving these two notes over, we have C major, an inverted C major. So we move this here, still C. Okay, then we have F. Just moving these two up, I have, move this down, we have B flat major. Okay, and then you have E minor. Okay, and then move it up to just these two. You're going to have then A major. If I move this down here, A major. Okay, and then back to D minor. So again, that is G minor, C, F, B flat, E minor, A, back to D. Okay? So pretty much the way you will play that, okay? You have your G minor chord, just make the G an octave. And that's pretty much going to sound like this. Then land on D. Okay? So the pattern there, rhythmically, you're going to have octave, then the two notes in the middle. Okay? Okay, and then you're going to move to the next note. Your octave stays the same, but these two notes are going to change to C and E, and these are going to be played melodically. And then together. Okay, so you have. Okay, so do that again. One more time. Okay, then the next one is going to be F. So move your octave down, or move your hand down to F chord. Play the octave, your two notes. The way you play G minor is the way you're going to play this one. Then keep your octave. Move these two to B flat and D melodically. And then octave, and then together. Okay. Okay, so from the F you have. Okay, let's start from the G minor again. From the beginning, you have. Same pattern, go down to E minor now, and you're going to have octave, and your two notes in the middle, which is G and B. And then keep your octave, move these two up, A and C sharp, to make that A major. Melodic, octave, together. Okay, so from the E minor, the one right below it. Okay, so let's do it again from the very beginning. This pattern, this is the long pattern, and let's take it slow. So here we go. And then you go to the very beginning of part one. Okay. Depending on the song, this works for an example. Could be Si tuvieras fe, when it sings Tú le dirías a esa montaña, muévete. Right? If it's going to repeat back into that part, Tú le dirías, there's this thing you can do to prepare to go back into it, and pretty much a simple way of doing it. You have D minor here, right? Octave. This is all this hand does. This hand walks up from D, and I play octaves, and I just walk up. Okay, so that's D, E, F, F sharp. Because when I go into that part, my first chord is G minor, so my left hand's getting ready to hit G, and I'll just come over here. So again, you just have, sorry, down the right hand, now let's break down the left hand. The left hand, pretty much going to follow what your right hand is doing. From your chord, your triad, your 3 notes, you're going to be using the first one and the last one, the fifth, the first and the fifth. Okay, because when we create the G minor chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we use the 1, the 3, and the 5. Okay, so this hand you're going to use the 1 and the 5. So you're going to do, so the octave is going to hit with each note. Okay. When you go to the next, you're going to have that delay pattern again. So you're going to have, then you're going to hit C first on your left before you come in with your octave. Okay, so yeah. And then that's when you have the broken one, the broken melodic chord here. Okay, ba, ba, da, da, ba, together. So delay, melodic, together. Delay, melodic, together. Okay? One more time. And if you have to practice back and forth with just those 2 notes, it's fine. When we move on to the others, it's the same exact pattern. Obviously, your fingers are just hitting different keys. So from here, then we have F, and it's the same thing. Your octave is hitting with each note. Okay, remember the first and the fifth. Then your next chord is B flat, and you have that delay. Okay. Then our last one, E, together. Then the delay. Okay, again, the E, minor. And then that walk up that I showed you where you play D minor and you walk up with your left. Alright? And then you're going to go back into your pattern. One more time, a little bit faster. And then once if you're gonna go back to the very beginning of the song, then you go back to the first thing we learned. Okay, so if we use the song, Este corito para alabar a Dios, si tú le alabas también, sientes lo mismo. And we'll go into the next part, walk up. Yo siento que el Espíritu Santo se está derramando en mi corazón y que una nube del cielo se está disparando en la casa de Dios. Excuse my voice, a little bit ronca, so not my best singing, sorry. Okay, so that's the long one. Again, that's the long version. Now, if you want to do the shorter version, instead of doing that, a simpler way is after you do the walk up, just do G minor and stay there for the full, I believe it's 4 count. The way we played it from the beginning, the pattern is the same. The same pattern from the very beginning. G minor, and then go to D minor. Or you can play it. Okay, so again. right here is the exact same thing as the very, very beginning. The only difference is we added a G minor to start it off. So again, the walk up. Walk up. Back to the beginning. Okay, so you have those two options. You can do the long one where it's G, C, F, B flat, E minor, A, and then back to D. Or you can take the short route until you get, you know, if you feel you're not quite ready for the long one yet. It's just the G minor, and then D, and then A, and then back to D. Okay, and you can use both. I alternate between both of them if I don't feel like, if I want to add a little bit of variety into the song. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, this is just something basic. It's kind of hard to break down exactly how, a specific way of how to do Latin. There's different varieties, like I mentioned before. This is just one of those fundamental styles and ways that you'll hear a lot in church. Again, there's other things you can add to it to make it sound better, but this is a good starting point. And then from there, just kind of add your own flair, or once you're ready for that next level, then just, you know, network and get with people who can help you with learning what those things are. Okay, again, thank you guys. God bless you, and God bless your ministry.